Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stump back for another Optc video, and in today's video, hopping into the new Garp's challenge against the worst generation over here on the Japanese side of the game. Now, this event has just dropped as of today. Now, with Global just getting Treasure Map and Japan getting this, I haven't really had a chance to sit down and look into the content too much, but I have beaten it with every color variation. We did manage to do it on stream, so if you guys want to check that out, make sure to keep the bell notification on. Hit the subscribe button to be notified when we do stream. We do stream pretty much every Monday and sporadically throughout the week. But in today's video, we are hopping in. This is the team. These are the supports. We're using Mono Psy. Now, with Mono Psy, we are blessed by a plethora of very, very strong units. Now, this team is not free-to-play friendly. I'm just stating that right now. My whole Japan account is definitely not free-to-play friendly. It hasn't had the time to sort of grind up the free-to-play units. So if you are looking for a more free-to-play guide, I do apologize. This is not the place to be looking at it. But for you Globarians, which most of my audience is, as I am a global main, this is what is coming in the future. So if you guys want to get a little bit of a better understanding, start preparing some really good units. All of these units I am using are on global as well, by the way. That is another thing to note. So if you guys want to start preparing some units, sort of looking at what characters you should be leveling up, well, these are some very, 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 very good characters to be doing that. On the team, we are leading the team with our boy Roger. Now, Roger obviously is, honestly, in my opinion, probably still the best character and best captain in the game. There are other characters that sort of combatant what he can do, but because he's just like a rainbow captain, he just makes these events really, really easy. He's also a super typing, which is great. It means that he can just sort of do a lot of things that other characters can't, mainly with his orb manipulation, which is really, really good. And he does have a lot of very, very good supports that you can use to trigger that, like the Rayleigh and the Shanks crew that you see on this team. I really wanted to try and do a Shanks crew team, sorry, a verse Shanks team, but Rogers just does it way better, and I just didn't really have the utensils and other attack boosters to make that happen. But on stage 3 is when this starts to get a little bit tricky. We come up against Jewelry Bonnie, Apu the Scratchman, and Capone Beige. Beige is going to make our left side bomb orbs, and Bonnie makes our right side recovery orbs, and then Apu basically removes our positive, or removes sound effect debuff. Now, they give us a new debuff that we haven't seen on global, and I think this is the first time on Japan as well. If you eat a meat orb, instead of healing, you actually take damage, which is very, very annoying. So what we're going to do on this particular stage, we're going to switch with our Shanks crew. That way we can give ourselves an attack boost, and then we can actually use the Lore special. With Lore special, we can get a chain lock, an orb boost. It works really, really well with Roger. And that's another reason why I want to bring Roger over versus Shanks, as Lore is just a really good orb booster already, and if we bring versus Shanks, we can't use Shanks crew, which is a huge, huge downfall. On stage 4, we come up against the Mad Monkey Rogue. Now, against your Rogue, he has another new debuff that we haven't seen before. He only allows us to do 500,000 damage in the turn. Now, as you can see, we've already done the 500,000, and everything after this just becomes 0. On the next turn, he is going to up that to 1 million, and then he does 1.5 million, and then he ups it to 2 million. After the third turn, he gives us normal attacks only, though, which is a little bit annoying. And there is a way you can get around that with characters like Versa Kainu and other characters that can do end-of-turn damage. That way you can actually do a little bit more damage than the actual threshold that your rogue applies. And it is a nice little cheeky way to actually get around those particular debuffs. But nevertheless, with the Roger team, we do basically just need to take our time here. We're at the 1.5 mil now. We can switch with Mihawk Perona to give us some matching orbs as well as some healing, which is really, really nice. And then Shanks crew can also give us an attack boost. With the negative effect, with the attack boost, we can easily just do that sort of damage to your rogue. And then once we hit the 2 million mark, that's when we can actually take him out. This debuff is actually super annoying. You might think, oh, it's nothing, right? It doesn't really mean too much, but when this pops up on stuff like Kazuna, when this makes your runs go from like 4 minutes to 8 minutes, it's going to start getting really, really annoying. So now that we're on to the 2 million, we can easily take out your rogue here. It is nice seeing the rounded numbers, though, I won't lie. Seeing that nice chunky, like that exact number, it is oddly satisfying. On to the next stage, we come up against Zoro and Killer. Now, Killer has a barrier. You have to hit 3 perfects. They have 4 turns of threshold, and they're immune to delay. Now, with Zoro and your rogue, sorry, not your rogue, Killer, you cannot use an orb manipulation. So you cannot use orb manipulators, which is a little bit annoying. So to remove the threshold on this particular team, you'll be surprised how many threshold removers actually rotate orbs as well. But on this team, we are utilizing Rayleigh. Rayleigh can give color affinity to strength and psi units too, which is really, really nice. As if you actually time the switch right, you can actually get Mihawk to come out. And Mihawk then has color affinity against Killer, which is really, really nice to have. As with the attack boost from Shanks, with the color affinity from Rayleigh, we can easily take out Killer and focus on Zora. Now, before we move on to the next stage, however, before we finish off on this particular stage, just be careful of the end of turn damage as well. That is something else to note. Before we do continue from this particular stage, we actually want to make sure that we use the Roger super typing. The reason we want to use the Roger super typing before we move on to the next stage is we are going to get that very annoying debuff that is, or debuff buff, however you want to look at it. It's the buff that we actually get in the Hawkins Forest, the one that actually locks our orbs or seals our orbs, the one that the Capone Pirates can do as an actual positive buff. But against Blackbeard, we're going to get all of our orbs orb sealed, and they are going to be sealed with 3 great shots. Blackbeard's also then going to blind our recovery, which is a little bit annoying, but again, not that big of a deal, as we can switch with Shanks Crew, use the Shanks Crew special to get a 3.5 times chain lock, and then we can switch to get our Mihawk and Perona to switch back into their Psy variation on the next turn. Now, ideally, I actually stuffed this up. Ideally, use the Roger special first. That way you can get the higher attack boost. But the reason that I just used Roger special there is that I just really wanted to show that you should have used it first, as well as give the cooldown for lore, and as well to give us the 5 times captain multiplier. Very, very important that we become a 5 times captain. Otherwise, we're going to struggle on this particular stage. Now, this stage is super pretty, by the way. We come up against the 7th Anniversary Legends. We have Lore, Super Type Dex Lore, we have Super Type Kid, and we have Luffy. Now, with Lore, he's actually going to rotate our captain to one of our middle row units. Then Kid is actually going to blow away our bottom 2 units, and then Luffy puts up a 3 million barrier. So that's why we wanted to have Shanks Crew and Rayleigh down the bottom. Very, very important that we do that. So then that way, they are both going to get blown away. We do have the carryover of Shanks Crew to give us the 3.5 times chain lock. We can then switch with Mihawk Perona. Mihawk Perona are going to give the negative ability. Then we can actually get the conditional bit buff as well, which is really, really nice. Ideally, actually, on this particular stage, I think I've stuffed this up, but ideally on this stage, you actually want Mihawk Perona to become your captain. Like, it doesn't matter too much if they don't. Well, actually, we're about to find out. But once they have swapped your captains, make sure that you attack with Mihawk Perona first, as Mihawk Perona is only getting the buff from Roger. But as you can see, we have plenty of damage to just absolutely decimate this stage, and Bob's your uncle. So there you go, that was Mono Psy against the new Garp challenge, the 11-star difficulty. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and if you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me. And if you're new to the channel, hit that big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. Shout out to my global players that are checking out the JP content. I really appreciate you guys. And for all you JP players that are new, my name is Stumped. Hit the subscribe button. We'll be uploading some JP content moving forward with new content. But as I mentioned, guys, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, I thank you homies for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Lights!